I was thinking about this, right? So the Falcons need a quarterback. There's a lot of discussion about Kirk Cousins being the guy that they want and that the Falcons are going to make a play at Kirk Cousins. And not even really just talking about race. I can't really think of anything more ironic than the idea of Kirk Cousins at Atlanta Falcons.
The idea that like they're being teased with like Justin Fields returning home and like the great story that could be a black quarterback back in the city that he's from to getting like literally Hermie from Rudolph. Like, it's just so funny to me. Although, let's be clear, and I know this because Justin Fields is from right up the street where I'm from, rival high school. He went to Harrison. I went to McEachern. It ain't Atlanta. So let's just, I'm not saying he's not. He's
a Cartersville, cooler. Right? Or somewhere up there, or Rome, one of them.
No, like Marietta, he went to Harrison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like so Cobb County, okay? You already know about Cobb County. I'm just saying it's not exactly like it's like the streets, but it's still, he is much more in line, I think, with Atlanta than Kirk Cousins. I find the whole thing to be so interesting too, because like our insiders would say, not that they're like, I don't actually have information. I'm just saying, based on the fact that his wife is from there, I could see that happening. And even though a few years ago I didn't want Kirk Cousins on the Broncos, I could see why the Falcons would want someone like a Kirk Cousins. I could also see why the Falcons are going to cry in their tears when Kirk Cousins leads them to a game that he has to win and then throws a pick six.
Dude, that's exactly what I was about to say. What is guaranteed here is a Falcony outcome, because I've been hard on Kirk Cousins over the years. Obviously, I can't come up with anybody better that the Falcons would probably reasonably get under those circumstances. If you're talking about right now, you're not talking about the future, there's no question. You take Kirk Cousins over Justin Fields. Though I have contended that with Bijan and Drake London and Kyle Pitts, we ain't got to throw the ball if we got Justin Fields, right? We just get out here and run the bone. We ain't got to do that. But Kirk Cousins, that is the way to go. But man, the collision of destinies, the Kirk Cousins destiny and the Atlanta Falcons destiny coming together. Oh man, that's heartache right there, boy. That is heartache.
It really is. He's actually like a mascot for the Falcons, so it is kind of perfect. But I felt like, we've talked about this, Bo. Like, we went from Michael Vick, right, the swaggiest of quarterbacks, and then they course corrected, if you will, and went all the way the other way to Matt Ryan, right, who is just, Opie-ish by nature, and he was just like so white. And I always thought that like when they went back and looked for the next face of the franchise, they would maybe settle somewhere in the middle, which is why I felt like Justin Fields was sort of that perfect merriment of the two. And to your point, like, yeah, there's a lot of question marks with Justin Fields. Certainly you've got to figure out what you're going to do with him over the next year. You're going to have to pick up his contract. You're going to have to give him $28 million if you do. So like, I understand why economically it feels like you can make Kirk Cousins work better just because he kind of is who he is, right? Coming off an ACL, but he is who he is, or an Achilles, but he is who he is, and you kind of already know that. But you can run the ball with Justin Fields. Like, he needs an offense that's specifically built around him. And I believe that if you can do that and you can lean on all the assets around him, you don't need Justin Fields to be anything more than he was in Chicago the last 7 games of the season. So it feels like it is a great fit. But for a Falcons team, and frankly, if you're trying to win right now, which of course Raheem Morris is trying to do, I understand why you'd want to turn to Kirk Cousins. But golly, it just sort of feels like we're getting Matt Ryan light here,
Even in Atlanta, new black coach plus new black quarterback is asking a lot of the people. You're asking for a lot of big changes. There's that. There's that. Like Raheem, you got to ask himself, like, oh man, am I willing to put it all on the line on this one? But also, if you Raheem, am I willing to put it on the line with Kirk Cousins? Even though we done seen Kirk Cousins movies, y'all still probably gonna blame me. There's that, right? But number 2, and I hadn't thought about this until just where you just said the thing about the midpoint, right? Like the midpoint between the swagginess of Michael Vick and those waves and Matt Ryan. Like, what is the midpoint between those two guys? And you know who the midpoint between those two guys is, don't you?
Russell Wilson, no!
He just hit the market. He's right there. He's available Russell for the minimum. If you want to bridge the gap between Michael Vick and Matt Ryan, that motherfucker right there is exactly the person who it would be. But you know who's vetoing that one.
Who? Not Sierra.
Princess ain't trying to come live in no Atlanta.
That's true. And also Future's there, and like there's that whole thing.
That's right. That's all I was about to say. You know how many dudes is not trying to live where they baby mama live? Can you imagine having the baby mama equivalent of Future? Like next thing you know, he gonna be trying to come over to the house now. Like, yo, me and Lil Future, I'm trying to go take him down to the park. No. He gonna start showing up to all the games. Right down there on the front row with them boys acting bad.
How awkward would that be? You could do we could do, instead of the Taylor Swift camera, you do a Future camera every time Russell Wilson does something really well for his team.
But the problem is, in all likelihood, it'll be a Russell Wilson do something really bad for his team. If Future be over there running left, drop the ball at the same damn time, right? Like something in that range of things.
Wiggy.
Prize Picks is the most fun you can have by winning up to 25 times your money. And with the football season over, you can still win money with basketball and hockey. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You can pick combo projections across multiple sports from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. Prize Picks is really simple to play. You can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.